The first thing I want to talk about is Jeff Horn's tendency to blitz forward, starting with either a right hand or a left hook, often switching stances as he does so to pressure his opponents. We've seen in both this fight and his fight with Manny Pacquiao that this is usually how he sets his offense up. Now, there's nothing essentially wrong with blitzing forward. We often see Gennady Golovkin perform this shift against his retreating opponents. However, if the opponent isn't retreating, you run the risk of getting countered since it takes a lot of time to shift stances. And since Horn has the tendency to basically fall into his opponents as he throws combinations, this makes him very susceptible for counter-punching opportunities. So here we're going to see Jeff Horn pressure forward and look to blitz in order to cut the distance and get onto the inside. And here we see him blitz forward with the right hand switching stances in order to get up to the inside of Crawford. This is where he wants to be so that he could do some inside work. And here once again we're going to see him pressure forward and then look to feint the blitz against Crawford. And here we're going to see Horn once again try to blitz forward into Crawford. This time he switches stances, throwing the right hand to get onto the inside. So let's take a look at the sequence right here. Jeff Horn is pressing forward and Crawford is stepping back to maintain his distance. We know that Horn likes to fight on the inside, so is eventually going to blitz forward to get onto the inside. So there Horn blitzes forward with the right hand and Crawford simply steps back to make Horn overextend himself and miss. And of course, since Horn doesn't keep his left hand up, as he lunges in, he's wide open for that check right hook from the southpaw, and he pays for his mistake. And here we're going to see Crawford look to set up a counter-punching opportunity by using this position to bait Horn into throwing a punch. This is known as the forward-leaning position and is the most common way to set up a counter-punch. Notice Crawford's weight is distributed more onto his lead foot, and his spine is leaning forward towards Horn. This is to make Crawford appear closer to Horn than he actually is. The fact that Crawford is exposing his head by dropping his hands down to his waist further baits Horn into throwing a punch and even sells it to be a headshot. And here you see Horn takes the bait by once again lunging at Crawford and reaching with a punch to the head. Crawford makes Horn miss by simply transitioning his weight to his back foot, straightening his spine out and stepping back. And we notice Horn has been drawn out of position with both of his hands down and presenting his chin to Crawford like an early Christmas present. And there we see the check right hook once again land for Crawford.
He had Floyd Mayweather. How so?
So why does the forward-leaning position work so well? This is because it is a form of distance deception from Crawford. Contrary to popular belief, the distance between two fighters is not measured by how far your opponent's head is, and this is because he or she could be leaning forward or leaning backwards. The distance is actually measured by how far the lead foot of the two fighters are from each other. If Crawford was in a traditional stance, his head would naturally be much too far for Horn to reach. Therefore, by leaning forward, he makes it look like he is in range, when in fact he is not. And so by baiting Horn to throw, he simply shifts his weight back and springs the trap. And like always, Horn rushes in and Crawford steps back and counters him with a check right hook. So here once again, Jeff Horn lunges in from much too far away and gets countered by Crawford, as Crawford simply just leans back out of range of Jeff Horn's straight right hand. You know, I know that this is the story of the fight, but it gets almost comical at this point how often Jeff Horn tries to lunge at Crawford and fall in from way too far away. He gets countered every single time. Here we see Crawford flash his lead hand in Horn's face as he's coming in. As you could see, this jab isn't meant to do any damage, but is actually used as a trap to bait aggression from Horn. Keep in mind that Crawford is leaning in to create the illusion that he is within punching range. So Horn tries to retaliate, and Crawford leans back from the counter and then is able to shoot a left uppercut and a right hook countering Horn's counter. Let's watch it again. So Crawford's going to shoot the lead hand. Horn is going to get aggressive, and Crawford's going to counter that aggression as Horn is coming in. Keep in mind that Horn is actually too far, which is why Crawford is able to easily just lean back and counter him. And here Crawford, leaning in, baits the jab from Jeff Horn and uses the outside angle to split Horn's jab and counter him with the straight left hand.
Uppercut lands. Crawford on the attack. That's it. It's over.
I just want to stress the point that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with blitzing in the way Jeff Horn does. It's just that a skillful boxer like Terrence Crawford will counter you if you do it from too far away or if you don't set it up properly. Conversely, you can utilize these traps used by Crawford to improve your counterpunching skills and deal with aggressive fighters. Most counterpunching opportunities are set up by baiting the exact punch you want to counter and by springing the trap when the punch comes. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.
Real up and real deal, holy feel. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to give up a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this, and it's like that and like this and like that, and it's like this and like that.